in Rwanda, the world is not just remembering the tragedy, but the warning signs that were ignored. And here in Nigeria, those lessons are beginning to feel uncomfortably familiar. Moyo Thomas has more.
It didn't begin with guns. It began with voices, on the radio, in communities, in everyday conversations. Messages that painted some people as less than human. Messages that spread fear, suspicion, and hate. Within weeks, those words turned deadly. More than 1 million people killed in just 100 days.
To honor the memory of the
Every year, Rwanda pauses to remember, to mourn, and to warn the world that when hate is ignored, violence is never far behind. But this year, that warning feels closer to home. Because today, hate no longer needs a radio station. A smartphone, a forwarded message, a viral video can reach millions in minutes. And in Nigeria, the consequences are already playing out. From the NSAS protest, where old videos resurfaced as fresh attacks, to election periods where false claims spread faster than facts. And in communities already under pressure, unverified information has, at times, sparked fear and even reprisals. In Plateau, in parts of the north, and across several flashpoints, tensions driven by identity, religion, and misinformation have left communities on edge. Sometimes all it takes is one message, one claim, one voice, amplified online.
From evil people in Nigeria.
Recent comments by an American missionary, Alex Babir, urging vulnerable Christian communities to defend themselves, have further raised concerns. Authorities fear such rhetoric, no matter how well-intentioned, can inflame already fragile situations. We report suggesting it may have triggered retaliatory reactions in some areas. The federal government says it is not taking chances, warning that unchecked narratives can spiral into cycles of violence faster than ever before.
Why do we build a division? Our promise then was progressive development, improved standard of living for our people. Not to bury, but to develop.
For the government, the message is clear that history must not repeat itself, that words, careless, emotional, or provocative, can become triggers. Triggers for fear, for anger, and ultimately for loss of life.
Clear and present dangers were ignored.
But Rwanda's story is not only about tragedy. It is also about what comes after. A nation that chose healing over hatred, rebuilding trust, and deliberately removing the lines that once divided its people.
The ancient toxins of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, and anti-Muslim bigotry are once again corroding our political discourse. We hear outright denial. We hear distortion. We even hear the glorification of past genocides. Genocide against the Tutsi shows us where this path can lead, when words are weaponized and the world waits too long to respond.
Identity cards were abolished, the narrative of division was rejected, and in a deliberate act of reconciliation, former soldiers of the previous armed forces were integrated into a new national army alongside those who had ended the genocide. Justice, too, had to be reimagined. Conventional systems alone could not address the scale of crimes committed. Rwanda revived a traditional mechanism, the Gacaca courts. These community-based courts allowed for truth-telling, accountability, and reconciliation at the local level.
Still, one question lingers. Could it have been prevented? Because the signs were there. The warnings were clear, but the world looked away. Today, Nigeria faces its own test, not of memory, but of action. The challenge is not just to condemn hate, but to recognize it early and stop it before it spreads. Because the truth remains simple. Violence rarely begins with weapons. It begins with words. And in today's world, those words travel faster, reach further, and linger longer than ever before. So the responsibility is shared in what we post, what we forward, and what we choose to believe. And as the world reflects on Rwanda's painful history, the message is clear. Remembrance must go beyond commemoration to confronting dangerous rhetoric before it turns deadly. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.